Hey everyone, and welcome. Today we're diving into a question that I'm sure a lot of you have thought about. What's the best way to enjoy cannabis? We're going to explore three totally different paths: smoking, vaping, and edibles. And as you're about to see, each one is its own unique journey.
So, what's it going to be? The classic ritual of smoking, the sleek modern tech of vaping, or the slow, long-lasting ride of an edible? Let's get into it and figure it out.
One of our sources put it in a way that I think is just perfect. It says it's like standing at a crossroads where, yeah, every path leads to a good time, but the journey itself is what's different. So think of this as your map. We're going to check out each path to help you find the one that's right for you. First up,
All right, our first stop is the original, the OG, the one that started it all, smoking. I mean, this is the method that's defined cannabis culture for, well, forever. So, what's the best way to think about smoking? Honestly, it's kind of like the fast food of cannabis. And I mean that in the best way possible. It's quick, it's super effective, and it just gets the job done without a lot of fuss. It's direct, straight to the point.
the biggest selling point here. Bam! It's that immediate gratification. You light up, and the effects are pretty much instant. But it's also about more than that, right? It's the ritual, that hands-on process of rolling a joint or packing a bowl. And of course, there's that classic social vibe of passing it around with friends. There's a real reason this method has stood the test of time. But just like fast food, there's a pretty well-known catch, and our source is really clear about this. Inhaling smoke from combustion, doesn't matter what it is tough on your lungs. For a lot of people, that's a trade-off they're willing to make for the experience, but it's definitely the biggest downside to think about. Okay, let's move on to our second path, the modern alternative. If smoking is the classic, then vaping is its sleek, high-tech younger cousin. So how does this actually work? Well, instead of just burning the plant, a vaporizer heats it up just enough to release all the good stuff, the cannabinoids and terpenes as a vapor. This means you skip the whole combustion process, and that's the key difference.
The difference in the feel of the experience is huge. Here's a great analogy. Think of smoking like a vinyl record. It's raw, it's authentic, it has that certain crackle and warmth to it. Vaping, on the other hand, is like Spotify. It's clean, it's convenient, and it delivers a super crisp, high-fidelity experience. Both are playing the same song, but the vibe, totally different.
So what are the big pluses here? Well, first, since there's no smoke, it's generally considered easier on your lungs. It's also way more discreet, with almost no lingering smell. And for all you connoisseurs out there, vaping is all about the flavor. Because you're not burning anything, you can really taste the subtle notes, those terpenes, of different strains in a way that smoking just can't match. It's a really clean and convenient experience. But here's the trade-off. For some people, the whole thing can feel a bit clinical. It doesn't have that raw, ritualistic feeling that so many people love about smoking. It really just comes down to whether you prefer that perfect digital file or the warm crackle of old-school vinyl. All right, time to head down our third and final path. And let me tell you, this is a completely different kind of journey. We're talking about edibles, the slow burn. So what's the right analogy for edibles? Easy, the tortoise. This journey is not about speed. It's about a slow, steady, and really powerful experience that demands one thing above all else: patience. Understanding the timeline is absolutely everything with edibles. For the first hour, maybe even longer, you'll probably feel nothing. You'll be sitting there asking, is this thing on? But then, you get liftoff. The effects build gradually and can last for 4, 6, even 8 hours or more. So much longer than smoking or vaping. And the high itself, it's fundamentally different. When you digest cannabis, your liver actually converts the THC into a much more potent compound. This results in an effect that people often describe as way more intense and physical, like a full-body experience, not just something happening in your head. It's uniquely immersive. This brings us to the absolute #1 golden rule of edibles, and you gotta remember this. Start low and go slow. That means taking a small dose and then waiting. Wait at least 2 hours before you even think about taking more. The classic mistake is getting impatient and taking a second dose before the first one has even fully kicked in. Trust me, that can lead to a really overwhelming experience. Okay, so we've walked all three paths. Now let's put them all side by side for a direct showdown to help you choose your own experience. This table really puts it all into perspective. Let's break it down. Just look at the onset row. Smoking is instant, while edibles can take up to 2 hours just to start. Huge difference. Now look at duration. Edibles can last more than double the time of the others. The vibe is totally personal. Are you looking for that social ritual, a clean, flavor-focused session, or a long, intense, body-melting high? Each path has a very clear pro and a very clear con. It really just comes down to what you're looking for at that moment.
So after all of that, what's the final verdict? Which method actually wins the big debate? Well, the answer is a lot simpler and honestly a lot more personal than you might think. In the end, it all just boils down to this one simple truth. The best way to consume cannabis is whichever way makes you feel the best. It's as simple as that. There's no single right answer for everybody. It's about what works for your body and the specific experience you're after. So the final question really isn't for me, it's for you. Are you looking for the classic ritual, the modern refinement, or that long, slow journey? You've seen the paths at the crossroads. The choice is all yours.